On to the last unit. It's about volume. You notice that booklet's nice and skinny. It's only 2 lessons. And what we're going to learn today is the main crux of this unit. Next day is just a slight add-on. So today will be basically the last main thing you're going to learn in grade 8. So that's kind of nice. So what we're going to be focusing on is volume. So last unit, we looked at surface area, which is, hey, how much area is exposed to the surface? This lesson, we're going to start looking at the same sort of shapes. We have a triangular prism right here, and we have a rectangular prism and a cylinder prism right there. And it's how much volume do these take? And the volume is like how much space do these take up? And one of you guys was asking me about this cube floating in the air. This is sort of connected to what we're going to be talking about today. Now this cube in the air represents a yard, right? So a yard is not a correct unit of measurement. It's more of an everyday term that we use. This is, each side is 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. So the size of a meter stick, right? And a meter stick is 3 feet or 1 yard. So what we have here is something we call a cubic yard. But in our everyday language, we call it a yard because when you go to any kind of landscaping space and then you go, hey, we're doing some renovations on our house, in our garden, I want a yard of mulch. I want a yard of gravel. I want a yard of garden soil. This is how much you get, right? And so what they usually do is like, oh, they know the size of their tractors and the size of their buckets are usually certain sizes, so they'll give you a yard or two. So, but it's a good idea to see it's actually a standard unit measurement. And if you guys do a lot of that, my father-in-law has an acreage, and he actually knows how many wheelbarrows fit in this because he's like, I got to shovel this every single year. So how many wheelbarrows are in a yard, right? So volume is the amount of space an object takes up, right? And the calculation is way easier than what we did for surface area, right? So the volume of a right prism can be determined by multiplying the area of the base by the height of the prism. All right. The base of a right prism is the side that can be, so the base is the hard part. How do you identify the base? So I say it's a side that can be pushed through the entire object. So if you looked at this shape here, the triangular prism, if you had to take one of these sides and imagine yourself in 3 dimensions, so you made those these shapes last day, what side is the side if you push all the way through without hitting anything else other than that? Yes?
The triangle?
The triangle on this one, right? So you can push this one through all the way through. That is the base on this. So this triangle has that. Does everybody see that? Right? And the other side you can't push all the way through. Right? Base. Oh, that's messy. Right? So the volume is the area of the base times the height of the prism. Now the height of a prism is the distance between the 2 bases. Height is the distance between the 2 bases on the prism. Okay. So every base has a near side to it. So if here we call this the base, the opposite end is the other base, and the height is the distance between That would be the height. Okay. Okay. So if we push it through, this is where it starts, that's where it ends, that's the distance of the height. Is that okay? Because those are the two pieces of things you need to identify for every single question. All right? So it means it's just multiplying those two things together. If I'm going to skip the middle one for now. So if you have a cylinder, what would its base be? What side could you push all the way through?
Bottom side.
The bottom side, or the circle, the bottom or the top, right? So the base would be this here. That would be our base. Okay. And what would our height be? Yes.
That would be
Yeah. How tall the cylinder is in this case. This would be our height. Okay. Okay, so now the middle one. What would our base be?
Well, doesn't it have multiple sides that could be?
So this one, yeah, there can be multiple bases. Okay, because there's multiple sides that can be pushed through. So you could pick this side as the base. Okay, then the height would be this. So you can pick the left and right side. Or, I'm going to do this in different color. In red, oops, that didn't switch. Or if you did, say, the top and the bottom could be your base. And if you chose that as your base, the height would be the distance between the two bases. So that one you got to be a little bit careful on. It's actually easier, is because there's two possible answers. You can't go wrong, right? Okay. All right. So if you looked at a triangular prism, the volume would be the area of the rectangle, right? Which is, a reminder, is your base times your height of that rectangle. So this is where you need to be careful. This height is not the height of the prism, it's just the height of the rectangle. So if you're trying to calculate the area of the rectangle, make sure you're using the right height. And there, we use the same word twice in the same shape, so that's not nice. Right?
Wait, what do you mean?
Right? So if you want to calculate, say, the volume of this shape here, well, first we need to find the area of this.
Oh, the base.
Yeah. Then we multiply by this height. And we say it's 5, we'll say 5 here. Well, this triangle, what's the formula? Is 0.5 times base times height. So if this was, say, 8 over here, and we'll do some examples, and this was 4 going in this direction, the height would be 0.5 times the base, which is 8, times the height for that rectangle is 4.
So it's 4 times 5 now?
Now times 5 there, okay? And we'll do some examples of this, so don't worry about it, we'll calculate it out, all right? So if you were wanting to calculate the volume of a rectangular prism, the middle shape there, we need to find the area of the base, which is a rectangle, and that is done by length times width, right? So we have width, length, so So area is equal to length times width. Right. And finally, the last shape is the cylinder, which is, hey, we need to find the area of the base, which is a circle, times the height. So the circle formula is area was equal to pi times r squared. Okay. So you don't have to memorize those formulas once again. I'll be providing to you on the test or up on the board, right? And the only formula for volume, I would say, is area of base times height. So you got to know how to apply it. Okay. So now, volume of an object doesn't change according to the orientation. It just stays. So changing the orientation does not affect the volume. So if it's cylinder standing upright or laying on the side, the volume is still going to be the same. Right? So however we rotate in the three-dimensional space, it does not affect the volume. Okay? Okay. Let's do some sample calculations here. All right, so example 1. We want to find the volume of this shape. So we need to identify what's the base and what's the height. What would the base be for this one? Anyone?
The shaded in area, like
The shaded in area. So we can use the shaded in here area here as the base. Or we could use the top and bottom, but since somebody mentioned the shaded in area, that's what we'll do. Okay, so that's our base. So if we use that as our base, what is our height?
10.
What? 10. Our height is the distance between that base and its mirror side. So that would be our height.
What is the 9 for?
Oh, then we'll need the 9 to help calculate our volume, right? So our volume is area of base times height. Okay? So let's calculate just the area first. Area of rectangle is length times width. What's the length and what's the width of this rectangle, of the base? What would that be? Yes, Lana?
9 centimeters and 10.
No? 9 and 5. So our base is right here. So this distance is 9, and this distance is 5. Right? So our area is 9 times 5, which is equal to 45. And what's our height? We mentioned it earlier, was 10. Right?
Wait, what? I'm confused.
What part?
Just like what the 9's for, because I thought it was like length times width.
Yeah, of the
So I
base.
just went 10 times 5.
No. Here's your rectangle right here.
Yeah.
What its dimension? So you have one side it's 5, the other side is 9. The 10 is not part of the
Oh, I see.
shape. Right? Okay. So now area of our base is 45 and our height is 10. And the answer is 45 times 10, which is 450. Okay. So now we need to talk about units. You guys know what the units for volume are?
Is it just centimeters squared?
No. So area is squared. Volumes are cubes, cubic. So you go whatever unit you're measuring in, it'll be that cubed. So this will be centimeters cubed. So centimeters times 3. Right? Now, you don't have to do this in the 2 steps. You can do this all in 1 step in your calculator. So it depends on how comfortable you are. You could just said, hey, I know the area is 9 times 5. I know the height is 10. And you could have done this all in 1 step in your calculator. 9 times 5 times 10. That's fine if you're comfortable doing it. Right? I'm just breaking down this into two pieces. Right? Okay, let's do one more. Okay, volume is equal to area of your base times your height. So what's our base on this shape? There's one side that can be pushed all the way through. Yes, Alana?
That would be the triangle at the front.
The triangle at the front. So that is our base. Okay? We have 19 here, 6 here, that's our base. Okay, what would our height be? Yes, Lana?
That would be 14, or no, 6 centimeters.
No, the height of the prism.
20.
The 20, the distance between the two bases. Right? So this, how far would it get pushed through? Right? That's 20. So I'll just put the 20 in here right now. And we're going to calculate the area of the base. So area of a triangle is your base of your triangle. Oh, sorry, 0.5 times the base of your triangle times the height of your triangle. So what are those numbers? What's the base of the triangle and what's the height of the triangle?
Base is 19.
Yeah.
And the height is 20?
Nope.
No, it's 12.
Nope. So the base, so you got to focus on what you're doing of the triangle. So the base of the triangle is the 19. What's the height of the triangle? So if you draw it out, the height is the distance between its base and its vertex. So it'll be the 6. Right? So you go 0.5 times 19 times 6. 0.5 times 19 times 6, which is equal to 57. Okay? And we take this 57 and we plug it into our volume equation. So 57 times 20 is our volume. So 57 times 20 is 1,140 centimeters cubed. Not too bad. I think the triangle is the hardest one because we use the word base twice and we use the word height twice, referring to two different bases, two different heights. Okay, last shape. We have a cylinder. Volume is same formula, area of your base times your height. Okay. So of this prism, what's its base? Yes, Alana?
It's the circle at the bottom.
It's a circle at the bottom. So that is your base. Okay? What is the height of this prism? Yes? 18. The height is, if we took that circle and we pushed it all the way through, how far did it travel? 18. So I'm going to replace the height with the number 18. We'll calculate the area of the base, then we'll come back and we'll plug it in there. So I'm going to draw our circle. And I'm going to write out the information that we have of that circle. So we're told the distance all the way across is 6. Now the area of a circle is right here on the left hand side. You can see the formula there on the screen. Is pi r squared. So the only thing we need to know is the value of r. So what is the r of this triangle? Yes? 3. Yeah, so we're told the distance all the way across is 6. So the distance halfway across is 3. So we go, on our calculators, we go, if you can use the pi button, great. Or you use 3.14 times 3 squared. And we calculate that out. So we go
28.26.
28.26. Thank you. All right. Now we take this 28.2.6 and stick it into our volume equation. 28.26, and we calculate. We go 28.26 times 18 is 508.68. So let's go 508.7 centimeters cubed. Okay. So before we do the assignment, there's 3 shapes. Oh wait. Let's have you do these 3 shapes. This one, and this one. You don't need to do this one. All right. Practice. See how far you can do it, and slowly I'm going to put up the answers on the screen so you can look up and see. All right. So can you identify the base? Can you identify the height? And can you use your calculator? All right.
Sorry for the interruption. Housing voice contestants, there will be a brief meeting in Mr. Richmond room 321 today at 11:45 to discuss Wednesday's recording schedule. That's housing voice contestants.
Oh wait, we were supposed to do the other one?
The one on the left?
I did the one on the right.
Okay. I'll give you the answer for the one on the right as well.
What's the answer for B? on the top.
I'll come back to it. Yeah, give a couple more. All right. Hands up if you got them all right. Hey. Who wasn't able to finish these in this much time? No, just a couple? Okay. Now, hopefully you understand the process. I'll do the left side first. So you have the base is a triangle. The area of the triangle is 0.5, 16 times 6, which is equal to 48. You plug it into your volume equation, so 48 times the height of the prism, which is 20, should have been 960. Remember to include the centimeters cubed. Okay? Going here, we don't have to do any fancy math, because you can just use the information all given to us. They've given us the radius for the circle, which is the base. Right? And how far can be pushed through is 11 centimeters, so that's our height. So area of our circle is pi r squared. You plug it in. The area of the circle is 153.94. You take that, you multiply by your height. That should be your answer. Okay? Now, for this question here, ooh, what happened there? There we go. Depending on how you picked your base, you could have had a different base, but your final answer should have been the same. I picked the base as this bottom one. Now you could pick the base as the left side or the right side as well, but the final answer should have been the same. Right? So area of the base of the bottom is a rectangle, so length times width, 15 times 8 is 120, multiplied by the height, which is 20, and it equals 2400. Okay. Now if you decided to do this one additionally as well, the answer should have been 4,021 centimeters cubed. Okay. That's it. Let's take a break. And if you